And we are live. Hello, Lucas. I'm figuring some more things out as I go. Let me see if I can make this a little louder, so I don't have to be right on top of it. Hey, look at that. How are we doing on this Wednesday? Hello, lovely people in my computer. Let's change that. Lovely people. Lovely people. Each day, this has gotten progressively better. You can see now, I've got some tools over here. I can switch my scenes very efficiently. I've got another monitor over here. Let me get my picture back up. There it is. Durenti's house of music. We're going to try a couple things. Since it's just a couple of people hanging out, just me and Lucas at the moment. Me and Lucas. Lucas, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to do some basic things. We're going to play a little piano. Let's see how that sounds. Oh, what happened? Ooh, that's lovely. Let's uncover this thing. Little do not disturb. Beep. Alright, I want to take some time. Obviously, I'm going to jam a little bit, but I want to take some time and go over. I'm trying to figure out the best approach here. Trying to figure out if I like to produce videos or if I like to live stream. Right now, I'm having so much fun live streaming. Lucas, let me know. I've changed some settings. Let me know if if my latency looks good. Amanda said she was busy until a little bit later, but everything looks good. So hopefully it looks good. He says he loves it. Oh, that's what I meant to do. Let me see if I could do that real quick. I meant to figure out how to get my chat up here. Let's see. I gotta go to my video. This is the long way about it, but let's see. Trying to get all these things up. There we go. Let's go to this video. Let us. Whoa, I can hear myself. Let us pop out the chat. How do you do that? Pop out chat. Take this link. Copy it. I'm going to keep that closed for now. Just minimized. Alright, and then we are here. We add a scene. I'm sure this is very interesting for you. Window capture. Browser. That's right. Browser. Chat. I don't know if it's going to change for every video. Make source visible. Boom, boom, boom. Paste. Boom, 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 boom. I can always change it. And boom. Yo, it's the chat. Yesies in the house. Okay. We're celebrating. She says, woohoo. Is that at all readable? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see if you can read that. If I can transform it. What can I do to it? Can I make it bigger? Let me know how that looks. Transform. I don't want to fit the screen. Is that readable? Is that obnoxious? Whoa! That's not what I wanted to transform. The chat. Got so much going on here. I'm gonna make that a little smaller. Whoa! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Can you read that? Does it look alright? And make that transparent. Source files. Okay, well, I got it up there. We're liking it. There are 4 people on here. Today, I tried not inviting anybody just to see who would join up. And also because I'm going to just be doing probably some basic music theory, basic music production stuff, so I didn't really, that doesn't apply to everybody, so I just wanted to see who would join naturally. Ooh, there it is. We got 6 people in here. People must have their notifications on. David in the house. This thing is on. I guess I should rename my live stream to The Band Kid Hangout After School. Invite my mom before she, texts me later and says, "You didn't send me a link." Technology and mothers, am I right? I've got some interesting things to go over today. We're going 3 in a row. Durante. I did a little bit. I'm not really supposed to plug it at school. Clearly, people have found it however they have. If I were just taking my class time to play my own videos, that would obviously be a problem, and I wouldn't be employed anymore. Okay, so 3 in a row. I'm having an incredible time here. Get over here, beautiful. Hey. Maybe I'll turn the mic so that I can talk to you, lovely people. This is an incredible time. I'm having so much fun. I hope you are as well. What I've got for you in store, for you, proper grammar. What I've got in store for you today might interest you. I hope so. You are here, so whether or not it interests you, you're going to get it. I am recovering. Oh, that was a weird noise from my throat. This is fun. So, I never finished my poem about the theremin. Well, not my poem, but Grok's poem. I never finished the poem. So I'm going to do that. Maybe if I could play some ominous music in the background with one hand. Let's go back to our D minor key. Oh yeah. The Song of the Ether. You got the first couple stanzas. Born in the hum of a Soviet dawn, 1920 whispered through wires withdrawn. Leon's hands danced, a spark unfurled. The theremin sang to a waking world. No strings, no keys, just air to bend. A voice of tomorrow, a signal to send. From labs of war to silver screens, it wailed through shadows, haunting dream. A ghostly trill in sci-fi's gleam, sound of space, a boundless theme. And Clara wielded it, her hands a guide, through notes that soared where spirits hide. Yet time moved on, its echo dimmed, and a relic lost to synths and whims. But pioneers of waves and light kept its hum alive in the night. Now circuits sing, the future calls, a renaissance in neon halls. The theremin rises, its voice anew, in starlit labs where dreamers brew. Hands hover still, no touch, no chains, a hymn of hope in vast refrains. Through galaxies will weave its tone, a bridge from past to worlds unknown. Tomorrow's children, hands aloft, will sculpt the air, their notes so soft, a thread of sound. Ooh, from Leon's spark, the light, the void, to pierce the dark. The theremin's dreams, its soul set free, a boundless song of what will be. It's Dominic. What's up, Alex? Try not to analyze my stuff too much because it's very basic. So far, just 1 and 4. So that was Grok that created a little poem for me for my theremin. The theremin performance was yesterday. I'm going to practice a little bit because it was a little iffy. This captures its origin with Leon Theremin, its eerie Hollywood heyday with Clara Rockmore, and a vision of its resurgence in a futuristic, hopeful light, perfect for a stream vibe. Maybe pair it with some theremin-inspired beats. What do you think? So then I asked, hey Grok, water synth. David, that is my DX. It's called DX Modern E-Piano. And the DX7 is one of the most iconic synthesizers. It was around from the 80s. I think Axel F has a theremin sound. Why don't we Google it? We'll do that in a minute. One of my favorite sounds. And then the Rhodes also. And then I asked Grok, I want to try something new. Because I've been here 3 days in a row. I'm having so much fun. Not only that, from a YouTube perspective, videos I would spend days creating would get very minimal views. And then I started live streaming. My first live stream, it had a horrible echo because I had a microphone plugged in over there, and there was picking up the room sound as well as whatever I was doing off of my phone. And then my internet was garbage for a minute. I just had to reset a box, and now it's fine. Actually, I even forgot to do a speed check today before I went on. But I got a new camera. I hooked up my nice mic. I've been getting some cool toys like this little stream box, my little my little monitor so I can show you stuff, so I can see stuff. And so I've been getting better. I've been having a lot of fun, and my views have been going crazy. They tripled. It went from like 20 views to like 90 views. And I figure this is fun. How many hours of YouTube do I watch a day? A lot. I have a 2-hour podcast that I watch every night. And last night I just blew through the first hour of it. I was like, I'm having so much fun. So I thought I would do some more regular content just like this. It's way easier. I set up my equipment and I go. I don't have to cut. I don't have to do things. Of course, I'm still going to produce videos because that's a lot of fun. But this, engaging with the audience, seeing the comments, racking up the views, and racking up the watch hours, which is important. I'm trying to make it here on this YouTube thing, so I'm trying to have fun, trying to do some good things. And I got a cool setup. I like my lights. I like my keyboard. I like music, and I like sharing it, most importantly. So that's where you come in. So I said, Grok. I didn't say Grok, but I said, can you compile some musical facts that happened on this day throughout different times in history, including recent events? So, here's a compilation of notable music events that occurred on April 2nd across different eras, including some recent happenings, based on historical records up to the current date of April 2nd, 2025. This day, in 1800, Ludwig van Beethoven premiered his Symphony No. 1 in C major, Opus 21, in Vienna, at the Berg Theater. This marked his first major orchestral work presented to the public, showcasing his innovative approach with bold sforzandi. Sforzando is where it gets suddenly loud. Maybe we'll listen to a snippet of that. And a lively spirit, setting the stage for his revolutionary symphonic legacy. Ludwig van Beethoven was not the first person to write a symphony. In fact, one of his teachers, Haydn, I think would have been considered like the king of the symphony. He wrote 100 of them, more than 100 of them. Mozart wrote a lot of symphonies. But Beethoven only wrote 9. And after Beethoven, a lot of things happened. We transitioned gradually from the classical to the Romantic period. And, basically from Beethoven's death, we consider it the Romantic period. And so composers after Beethoven were a little intimidated, as you might be. And they would not write more than 9 symphonies. They got to that number and they're like, oh, I should stop. If Beethoven only did 9, then what am I doing? And so they were very particular about symphonies after Beethoven. With Haydn, it was just like, boom, 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 symphony a week, sort of thing. In 1939, Marvin Gaye, the iconic American soul singer-songwriter, was born in Washington, D.C., known for hits like What's Going On. Gaye's career blended social commentary with smooth vocals, profoundly influencing R&B and soul music, until his tragic death in 1984. In 1964, the Beach Boys recorded their first number 1 hit, I Get Around, a surf rock classic that epitomized their harmonious sound. On the same day, they fired their manager, Murray Wilson, father of Brian, Dennis, and Carl Wilson, due to his overbearing critiques, marking a pivotal shift towards Brian's creative control. 1970, Janis Joplin got tattoos on her wrist and chest, the latter reading One for the Boys, reflecting her bold, rebellious persona. This was a year before her death, during a period when she was cementing her legacy as a raw, emotive rock and blues vocalist. 1973, The Beatles released 2 compilation albums, The Beatles, 1962 through 66, the Red Album, and The Beatles, 1967 to 1970, the Blue Album. Both soared in the top 10 in the US and the UK, with the latter hitting the number 1 in the US, showcasing their enduring popularity post-breakup. Ooh, just a couple more here. 1987, legendary jazz drummer Buddy Rich died at age 69 from heart failure following surgery for a brain tumor. Known for his explosive technique and showmanship, Rich's career spanned big bands with Artie Shaw and Tommy Dorsey to leading his own ensembles, leaving an incredible mark on jazz. Let's do a recent one. 2024. Forbes declared Taylor Swift a billionaire on April 2nd, recognizing her as the first musician to reach this status purely through music and performances, not external ventures. This milestone underscored her monumental success with albums like Midnights and the Eras Tour. And then I asked, any more classical or older musical events? I prefer the classics. So, 1739, George Friedrich Handel completed the compositions of his oratorio, Saul, on April 2nd, though it premiered later that year on January 16th, 1740. That's not later that year, that's the next year. In London, this dramatic work, with its vivid choruses and the famous Dead March, showcased Handel's mastery of blending biblical narratives with operatic flair, cementing his reputation in the Baroque era. There's a few more, from Chopin to Rachmaninoff, but I think we've gone long enough. Let's get back into the music. So like I said, I want to get into a couple of things. I've been, trying to get into some. I tried to produce. Get over here, you. I tried to produce. The key of today is D minor, brought to you by D minor. Mr. Sirani, tell me what you think of this chord progression. That's some theory that we haven't gotten to. I'm teasing with that. I'm teasing people with that. And I'm not gonna explain it. I did talk about it, but I'm teasing with that, and we'll get to it when we get to it. All right. So, what was I just saying? Oh, I was trying to produce a video about basic music theory. Did I bore you all? Is everybody gone? Light up my chat, yo. This is the whole point. It's so much fun seeing what you think. Was that today in history boring, or was that exciting? I thought it was exciting. I have talked about audio waves in one of my other streams. We did talk about wave forms, such as the sine wave. Let's see if I can pull that up on my keyboard. Sine wave, sawtooth wave, and square wave. Ooh, square lead. Very cool. Sawtooth. Let's see if I can find, is this? That is not a sine wave. Voice lead. Maybe that. Nope. Let's go back. There we go. Hollow, mellow, solo sine. Okay, so sine wave is a very pure wave. Square wave is literally in the shape of a square. Sawtooth wave is, there are a couple different versions of it. There's a triangle wave that's geometrically perfect, and then there's a sawtooth wave, which is on one angle. You know, there's a straight edge and there's a long edge. So they have different sounds depending. Sawtooth. But what I've been wanting to do is just a basic overview of some music theory stuff. I understand. Unable to chat. I'm just trying to throw something at him that he's never heard of. And I'm sure he'll ask me about it tomorrow. But accidentally pressed early. You're so pro. Yo. Okay, where's my mouse? So, I'm going to try out my thingy. My new button. Let's make that go away for just a moment. And then I'm going to push a button over here. Where is it? That's the one. Shwa, shwa, shwa. Oh, and now I got to add my chat over to this. All right, we're looking at my browser, the browser that I'm over here on. Woohoo! Oh, can you not see that? Oh, you can't see my mouse. Can I fix this? Capture mouse. Capture cursor. It's there. Why can't you see my mouse? Can you see my mouse? Ah, now you can. I had to click on the window. All right. So the good thing about having an 8-minute theremin song is it works really well as an intro for my video. I'm over here, but you're over here seeing what I'm seeing. So I want to look at this, musictheory.net, and I want to look at this, learningmusic.ableton.com. David says, on most synth sounds, the initial attack can be very strong, but as you hit the next key or note right after it, it comes in warmer than the first. What's the reason behind that? Initial attack can be very strong as you hit the next key or note right after it. Maybe just touch sensitivity. On my keyboard here, I have touch sensitive keys. Oops. I'm trying to just copy my chat over. So touch sensitivity. Copy, please. I could just do it again, I guess. We're going to go back over here, put my chat. So on certain voices it has touch sensitivity, such as the Rhodes, one of my favorites. So you're right, there is something that we need to talk. We don't need to talk about it, but it's called what is the word for that? The attack, the decay, the sustain, and the release. ADSR, not ASMR. The on. Whoa, that name is already in use. Well, then why can't I copy it? It's called the envelope of the sound. And so, where is this? Hopefully this is going to let me paste this. Otherwise, good thing I left it open. Booyah, it worked. Okay, let me make this smaller this time. Let's do, I don't know if that's going to work. 300 by 400. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying some stuff. Custom frame rate, bloop, 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 bloop. Let's try that. Hey yo, look at that. Alright, we got some chat going on over there. Can I move that? Oh, yes I can. Alright, I'm going to try and see if this works. See if we can do all the things that I want to do. So, the envelope of a sound is different for each sound. if you think of, ooh, can I do this? I have lots of instruments on here. So I'm thinking of an instrument such as the French horn. Okay, the attack might not be as fast. Oh, whoa, buddy. Let's go back over here. Yo, that is so easy. Hello, lovely people in my computer. Oh, I didn't even change the date. It's the 2nd. I'm going to leave that up. So, the attack. This is the envelope of a sound. Attack, decay, sustain, release. A, D, S, R. Okay? So every time you hit a note on some instrument, on a drum, your attack is immediate. Your decay is pretty much immediate. There's very little sustain, and there's also a very short release. So on a drum, it's just boom, that's it. On a violin or a cello or something like that. So many things. Ooh, excuse me. Let's find that. Live orchestra, a string ensemble. Kind of has a slow attack. Okay, so there's a very elongated attack. Depending, you can do a fast attack if you're plucking the string. The attack is going to be immediate, right? Just kind of like a drum. Okay, you can still kind of see that. Ooh, get the mic out of the way. Booyah! You can see that. So that's our quick attack. That's kind of just an intermediate envelope. All right. So I'm thinking now, as a conductor, which is something I always wanted to do, and I'm so happy that I get to do it every day. As a conductor, I remember learning the difference between conducting a band and conducting an orchestra. When you're conducting a band, there's the amount of time that it takes for the air to go from the mouthpiece and go through the instrument. It takes a little bit of time. On the strings, you pull the bow, it makes a sound. I was considering playing some violin today, but we'll see. I got my cool electric 5-string violin. Whoa! And obviously, depending on the highness or lowness of an instrument, of the register of an instrument, this is a bass, a double bass, contrabass. That will probably have a slower attack because, as I've learned this year, basses have to use different rosin. Rosin, ooh, if I had some around me, that would be nice. But anyway, rosin is basically tree sap, and you put that on the bow, which has hairs, which are synthetic, and so that allows the bow hairs to grip the string and allow it to vibrate and cause it to vibrate. And so basses have to use really thick, sticky rosin and a big, thick bow to get those big, thick strings to vibrate at all, right? And so I'm not sure what instrument or synthesizer you're talking about, but whatever you were talking about, it has a certain attack, and it may or may not be touch sensitive keys. Excuse me, just a little musette. But like on a saxophone, you can kind of hear, this is an approximation of a saxophone, but it's got a different attack envelope than the bass. You can hear like the of the mouthpiece. And as you sustain it, you get a little vibrato because these are some really cool sounds. Clarinet, something like that. And then let's see, trumpet. So they all have different sound envelopes. That's what gives them their different sounds. Trombone. Okay, back to the French horn. Tuba. And that's a big, huge instrument, so it takes a long time for that air to go through it. Okay, a better way of wording this would be, could you still hit the same note with the same velocity, but it'll come out softer than your first initial strike? Oh, I see. You were asking if it's possible or how to do it. Let's see. Let's pull up. Well, excuse my tangent about envelopes. So, a strong attack followed by a softer attack than your first initial strike. So with this, this is like a Rhodes piano. Let's go to the tremolo one. I like the tremolo. There it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. So strong attack, soft attack. And with the reason I picked the Rhodes is because it has like a bite to that strong attack. But I don't know if you're talking about like re-triggering it, like something like that. I hope this is helpful. Uh-oh. Maybe I need to invest in some new cables. Okay. So, hopefully that helped. Something I wanted to go over. I'm trying to kind of inject some music theory into some of this. And so I don't think I went over any of this. I know you guys know music theory, but this is not just for you. These videos are going to live on in time. Okay? So let me know right now. I'll wait. Is this something you want to see right now? Or should I just do a special live stream just for these? I wanted to just interject some of these lessons. You know, I've got these lessons here. I just wanted to cover like one, maybe two, maybe 17. You know, just go over the basics and have that live. And then maybe I could clip it and see what I get out of it. You know, and maybe you can give me some feedback on like how you learn this or whatever. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna play a little bit on my tremolo in the daily key of D minor. David gave me a thumbs up. I'm hoping that was in the reference to the question that he asked. Dominic, can you pass the word along about what Alex thinks of that? That's a technique I've been playing with for a number of years. pitch bending, ever so slightly. Yeah. Does that tickle your fancy? Alright, where's my mouse? There it is. Let's go back. So, I'm going to take that as a go-ahead to just cover some basics. Because I'm going to just clip them out. I'm going to create videos about this. Let's see. So maybe I'll face the camera. Maybe I'll bring my microphone over this way. But now the trouble is, I can't see the screen. Where are you? What are you doing over here, bud? There you are. Can you see me? Yeah, sure you can. I'm over here in the corner. I'm in the corner. Anyway, Alex told me, doing the pitch stuff is keeping his attention on the stream. I've been playing with that technique for years. I love it. It tickles my fancy. It's kind of fun. From what I understand, hey you, back up. Is this entertaining to watch me mess with everything? This is just a portable mic. That's not a microphone. That is a monitor. And I could just bring it over closer to me, but I can still kind of see it, so I'll just go back and forth. So, some basic theory, just to kind of get this out there. Okay? This is not for the people who know this, obviously. I'm trying to make a video about basic music theory, and it was daunting and overwhelming. And I put it up. I made a 12-minute video. I put it up as an unlisted video and shared it with someone who was an absolute beginner. And I got some feedback. And it wasn't basic enough. So I need to try and slow it down and go back. So let's have a little introduction, and just to keep Alex's attention, let's do a little random stuff. Okay, anyway. Pitch. Oh, the staff, as you can see here, is 5 lines and 4 spaces. The foundation. Oh, did I actually go over this? I think I did. I did. I went over this in a previous video. Okay, so we can skip to the next lesson. Good job, team. That was incredible. You are a champ. Note duration. I like to call this the hierarchy of notes. The whole note has the longest duration in modern music. The half note is half the duration of the whole note. 2 half notes occupy the same amount of time as 1 whole note. The quarter note is a quarter or a fourth of a whole note. And you can see here they're stacking them up together. So 4 quarter notes occupy the same amount of time as 1 whole note. 2 quarter notes equal the duration of 1 half note. Oops, 2 quarters, 1 half. Notes smaller in duration than a quarter have flags. Each flag halves the value of a note. An eighth note has 1 flag. Therefore, 2 eighth notes occupy the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. And you keep adding flags as you cut it in half. A 16th note has 2 flags, halving the value or cutting it in half again. So 2 16th notes equal the duration of an eighth note. 4 16th notes occupy the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. Although it is possible to have notes with 3 or more flags, they are seldom used. And this chart displays the relationship of all 5 note types discussed in this lesson. Okay, so that's rhythm. I'm going to go into unexplored territory, the back of my whiteboard. Can I flip this all the way around? I can. This is lovely. Okay. Whoa. Get out of here. Booyah. You can come over here now. And so can you. Whoa, wrong way. Okay. There we are. Come on now. You know you want to. There you go. All right. I did turn up the game, so hopefully I tightened that enough. All right. So I was just going to briefly talk about the anatomy of a note. Get over here. So the whole note is just called the note head. All right, so the whole note comprises just a note head. Now, what I like to say to my students when I'm teaching this stuff in class is everything that you do to a note, physically changing it, cuts the value in half. So you have a note head, that's a whole note. If we were in 4/4 time, indulge me for a moment. Oh. Okay. So that was 4 beats per one note. That was a whole note. Now I'm going to physically change the note by adding a stem to the note, just like a flower. Now, we're going to count to 2. Oops. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. The reason I said oops was because I cut it off a little early. Okay, got it. So now we're going to physically alter the note yet again by filling in the note head. I drew a really big note head, so this is going to take a minute. Okay, we have physically altered the note. Can you see that now? There it is. Okay. Note head filled in. Oh my god, turn off the metronome. Fill in. Now we have a quarter note, as you can see from our chart. Right, quarter note is in the middle there, right by my cursor, which currently is behind my board. There you go. So we started with our whole note. We went to our half note with a stem, and then we filled in the note head, and we have a quarter note. Now, I'm going to physically change the note again by adding a flag. Okay. So those are all the things you can do to a note to physically change them. The only other thing you're doing is adding more flags, and thus cutting its value in half. Okay. So you can see this chart on the screen. That is what I describe as the hierarchy of notes, because it lists all of them in hierarchical fashion, from the longest to the shortest. Now, let's go back. We're going to add one thing to this. We'll skip over that for now. We're going to relate this to sounds and silence. So if a note is a sound, a rest is a silence. I'm going to do quarter note, quarter rest. note half rest. Ready? Okay. Rest represents periods of silence in a measure. Each type of rest shares a duration with a certain type of note. For example, both a quarter rest and a quarter note occupy the same amount of time, whether it's sound or silent. While the note would make a sound, the rest is silent. To demonstrate this, let's fill a measure of 4/4 time with quarter notes. Okay, we skipped over the thing talking about 4/4 time, but basically we have 4 quarter notes. So we have 4 quarter notes. And that's as much as we can have. Any duration of a note that fills up 4 quarter notes is all that you can fit in here. So that would be 1 whole note worth 4 beats, 2 half notes worth 2 beats each, 4 quarter notes. You can have 8 eighth notes or 16 16th notes, and so on and so forth. 32 32nd notes, etc. But we haven't got there yet. When played, all 4 notes sound. Let's see if you can hear this. It appears that you can. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you actually heard that. I'm going to continue. I hope you're still here. It looks like everybody's still here. I'll get back to some music in a minute. I just want to finish this, because we're going to get to some cool stuff in a second. Not that this is not cool. Next, we will replace the second quarter note with a quarter rest. When played, the second beat is now silent, and hopefully you can hear it. Alex gives a thumbs up. I'm going to play that one more time. Okay, so you keep the beat the same, except one is now silent. First, let's discuss other types. Next, let's discuss other types of rest. A whole rest occupies the same amount of time as a whole note. It's drawn as a box descending from the 4th staff line. A half rest occupies the same amount of time as a half note. It is drawn as a box ascending from the middle staff line. Like notes, rest can have flags. With 1 flag, an 8th rest has the same duration as an 8th note. With 2 flags, a 16th rest has the same duration as a 16th note. Although rarer, rests can have 3 or more flags. Use this chart for reference to rest duration. Again, that's what I refer to as the hierarchy of notes and rests. That's as far as I want to go today, because I do want to cover more, but I don't want to make it overwhelming, because this could be really boring and really dry, but I want you to be able to dissect it, digest it, rather. Let's go back over here to the piano. I need to tighten something real quick. And, whoa, back to the piano. We are in the daily key. I'm going to stick to my daily keys. I like that concept. The daily key of D minor. D for daily. this is interesting. Alex happens to be in my music theory class, and we talk all the time about AP and their silly rules. I just did a chord progression. I'm going to give you a minute. Dominic, relay the message. What is the chord progression that I just played? Because I know you know. And for those of you watching, we'll talk a little bit about some things here while I'm waiting. We're talking about scales and keys. Okay, we're in the key. I keep talking about my daily key. I think I started in G minor, which was my favorite. And then yesterday, I did like C sharp minor. I don't want to throw off the tonality here of the day, so we're going to stick with that. So we're in the key of D minor. Shares a key signature with F major. Okay, so F major is the relative of D. D minor is the relative of F. So, if we were talking about the key of F, I'm going to give them each a number. And there could be names, but right now we're just going to stick with numbers. Okay, hopefully you understand my notes. Notes on notes. Let's be consistent. So, in a scale, should I draw staff? Oh, I don't have to. I have a piece of paper with that on it. Oh, you may not be able to see that very well. Let me draw it and then I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see. So, we talked about clefs. You saw me go through that. I talked about it in a previous live stream. I'm going to do... You get closer to me, please. I'm going to do two things. We're going to do a treble clef, and we're going to do a bass clef. Okay? On the piano, that's your right hand and your left hand. And as my theory students know, it is not a grand staff without the bracket. So, we're in the key of F. I'm going to refrain from using a key signature because we haven't learned about that yet. C sharp Locrian. He's refusing to answer the question. The question is, what was that chord progression? We're going to get there in a minute. C sharp Locrian. I refuse to play in another key right now. I'm trying to stick with I'm trying to stick with a daily key and there's a reason for it. I'll explain it one day, maybe later. But there's a reason I'm trying to stick with a tonality for the day. It just kind of dawned on me today. So I'm going to try and do it. It's an emotional thing. Anyway, so we're talking about the key of F and the key of D. Where are you over there? Let's go over here. F. Is my marker dying? So I'm going to draw some notes. We got F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. Okay, now we could just call those F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. We can call them by their letter names. But we could also give them a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is also 1. 8 and 1 are the same. There are other names that we can call these. I'll give you a basic one. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Right? So I'm sure you've heard of that. I'm not going to sing the copyrighted song from Sound of Music, but you know it. You're singing it right now, aren't you? So, the numbers is what I wanted to talk about. Now, those numbers, I don't know if you know this, but these numbers are called Arabic numbers. Okay? Roman numerals would look like this. Now, I'm doing them differently on purpose. I'll tell you why in a moment. Oh, you can't see this, can you? Oh, okay, let me put that up to my camera so you can see what I'm talking about. Alrighty then. There you go. If I can orient it properly. There it is. So, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, up here, I drew a 1 to show you that 1 and 8 were the same. But when I did the Roman numerals, I was like, oh, there's a 1 there. I need a 1 there. So I just used it. Now, I'll just briefly explain. This is a scale, and those Roman numerals refer to chords. Now, I wrote them with their chord qualities. You can see there's one that's different. There's a couple different types. You've got uppercase letters mean that it's a major chord. Lowercase letters mean that it's a minor chord. 7, if I can get rid of the glare, is a diminished chord. I'm sure some of you understand that. Some of you may not. But listen, and you may gather a bit of understanding. Alex is going to be able to chat soon, so prepare for a lot of messages. I urge him to take it easy. Take it easy. We're going on an hour and 10 minutes here. I was planning for a half an hour stream. I'm getting hungry, so I do want to do a little bit more. My live stream that I watch, my podcast, is 5 minutes in, but that's okay. It's news, and lately the news has been a little humdrum. And there he is. What if instead of me listening whatsoever, you made up a little tune and modulated up 23 cents in the middle of it? Excuse me? Excuse me? I don't know. I don't know how to do that on my keyboard. Maybe I do, but right now I'm in the middle of something. I won't tell them that you do this in class too. I would never. This is live. And there he is. So, I'm talking about scale degrees, chord symbols. The reason that I did that, and yet, did you notice, Dominic? He is still refusing to answer the question. So, the question was, what chord progression was this? Because it's kind of interesting, because I just accidentally did it. He has yet to answer that. Okay, he'll listen. Chat right now. Not using relative pitch to figure it out. You are using your skills as you should, but there's something there that you need to know. Ooh. Accidentally did a 7th chord there. That's fun. So, lovely people who are not my theory experts from my theory class, the reason I did this was to show you something completely different. Not completely different. I'm going to go down to the bass clef here. I'm going to outline this. So, in the key of F, we have these notes. Now, we are going to get, let me go over here. We're going to get into a lesson that talks about scales. We are not there yet. We have a lot to get through. So I'm just going to say what it is. Okay. These are scales. We have a certain formula that we'll understand. Whoa, what happened there? Oh, my light died. That's okay. I think it's all right. It just kind of was like, whoa, it took me out for a second. So, we have a certain pattern. It goes whole step. Do I need to go to black? I love writing in purple, but let's go to black. Whole step. Whole step. Half. Whole step. Whole step. Whole step. And half. Okay? The way that I work, Alex can tell you this. Oh, thanks for subscribing, Richard Fraunhofer. Whoever you are. Stream Elements has kind of added my account. So there's like a chatbot in here. So far, you've got 1, 3, 4. You are there, sir. 571. Okay. Isn't that interesting how 3 kind of works there? It sounds really cool. But we don't use 3 in our AP class. Whole nother topic. Anyway, I'm trying to explain relative keys here. Because I'm like so far down the road here. No idea why you can't figure out the one after that. Well, it's just 5 to 1. In a minor. Okay. So, talking about D. I'm going to write this down here now. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, same as here. C, and D. Okay, we're going to go over notes. We're going to go all over this stuff. But in my live stream, I'm just kind of jumping all over the place. This is not at all what I wanted to get to. But we're here, so let's go with it. So, you can see here, maybe you can't, so I should show you. You can see here, if I can do it properly. Something like that. I'll figure this stuff out on a little bit better. Maybe I can even put MuseScore on this computer. And then you can see actual things that I can compose in front of your eyes. But anyway, you can see in the key of F, the 1 chord, or the 1 scale degree, and then you get to the key of D. D is the 6th scale degree in F. That's how they are related. So, we're going to redo this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are our minor scale degrees. Now, I'm just here, so I'm just going here. So, if I was just talking about this today with a student who came over to ask me the difference between minor and major scales. So, D starts on the 6th scale degree of F, and it's the same scale. Okay? So it shares the same note, shares the same key signature, which we'll talk about. So, if we start this pattern here, we go whole, half, over here now, whole, whole, half, whole, whole, I believe. Whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Okay? That's the formula for a minor scale, and that's how they're related. And that's why D minor and F sound good together. But the AP doesn't want us to use it because it's not common practice period. Okay, so if you don't know a whole step and a half step, we're talking about the keys. Okay, so let me find one you can see right over here. So this is a D. If I go a whole step, I'm skipping a key. If I go a half step, I'm not skipping a key. Okay, so I just did all half steps, going from one key to the very next key. And as Alex is pointing out, there's such a thing as microtones. I can only do a few of them. I'm sure Alex is having the time of his life with that, but everybody else is like, I don't hear any difference. Ooh, that's a half step already. I can barely do it because I have to do it with my wheel manually, so if I pick any note and start and use that formula, those formulas, I will get either a major scale or a minor scale. That is so far past what I wanted to go to. Let's get into, oh my god. Imagine you are asking a dog if they want to go to the park. You are the dog. Your tail is wagging. He's like, oh my god, I heard microtones. Anyway, you're welcome. Is this everything you ever wanted in class? We got 9 people in the stream. We gotta do some other things here because they are not the dog. You might be the dog, but they are not. So let's get into something. Come on. Oh, I just muted something. Okay. Let's get into something that's a little bit more relatable to the normal dog, person, peoples, simple human. Anyway, we're talking about music production. I need to stop just grabbing that. All right, I'm going for it. I'm grabbing the monitor and I'm coming over here with you. Let's do it. Let's see if I can break my whole setup right here, right now. Okay. Will this flip if I do this? Will it flip? No, it will not. Cool. All right. So I'm over here. I can see what I'm doing, but this is not very comfortable. There's nowhere to put it down. And that's just not very fun. So we're going to try something different with that at another time. And we'll just put that right back over there. Like nothing ever happened. See? Screwing around. I lost 2 people. But that's okay. All right. So a couple days ago, I was in the playground here. We did a little intro. I'm going to go back over here. Hopefully that'll stay. We did a little intro here of Get Started, making music. And so I was showing off some of this cool music production stuff, because that's something I know a lot about. I love it. Hey, look, it's my theremin. Hi, theremin. I miss you. I will practice you, I promise. All right, so this is everything you need to know to get started making music on the computer. In these lessons, you'll learn the basics of music making. No prior experience or equipment is required. You'll do everything right here in your browser. To get started, check out the boxes below. Each one contains a small piece of music. Click a box to turn it on or off. Okay, and so I talked about that a little bit. You know, you click them, and if you click it before the next cycle, it waits for the proper time to come in. Let me know if that's too loud. Okay, so that's a basic. There's all kinds of stuff we'll hit. I think this one sounded good. I think it's time for a joke. Why did the rapper bring a ladder to the mic? To drop bars from a higher level. These are AI jokes, so they don't exactly make sense. I don't get it. Why don't pianists ever lose at poker? They've got all the keys to a good bluff. Thank you. Alex is crying over here. You had your moment in the sun, sir. Oop. All right, so let's go through some of these lessons. I want to pace myself. I'm going to do a little bit of music theory. I'm going to do a little bit of music production. This is just so much easier than producing a video. I just get to talk about things that I know, and it's a little bit easier than class because the camera is always listening. It never has to go to the bathroom 6 times in a class. It never has to get distracted. And you, the listener, aka the student, if you don't understand what I just said, you can go back and play it like 6,000 times if you need to. It works out for everybody. I only have to say it once, and you get to rewind and play it again, if you so choose. So, after playing with these boxes for a while, you'll discover certain combinations that you like. Many types of music are created in exactly this way, by mixing and matching small musical ideas to make interesting combinations, and then changing those combinations over time. Excuse me, I'm hungry, I'm burping a lot. Now you've combined pre-made musical patterns. Next, you'll make some patterns of your own. Make beats. Oh my god, what's this? The grid shows the inside of a musical pattern. You can click the grid boxes to make your own version by creating or deleting notes. Click this button to stop and start playback. Excuse me, to start and stop playback. We'll close that window. What? Word. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Make a beat. Okay, so I can play with that if I want, but I like that, and we're going to just move on. Next, what are these sounds? Listen to this pattern. Okay. Cool. What do we hear? We see open hat. We got one of those. Closed hat. We got a bunch of those. Clap. Kick. Well, what does all that mean? Now listen to this one and notice the difference. Okay. You noticed that difference, didn't you? cut that off. The notes are the same. We've just changed the sounds. But this gives each version its own unique character. The 4 types of sounds in these grids are among the most commonly used drum sounds in many styles of both acoustic and electronic music. Here's a bit more about them. The kick drum, also called a bass drum. An acoustic kick is struck by a pedal with a beater attached. That's it right there. There's the pedal. There's the beater. It looks a lot like an orchestral bass drum, except it's a lot smaller. And that's the same as an orchestral bass drum mallet. It's just attached to this foot pedal. So you can do all kinds of things at the same time, like do the kick and do other things. It's played by the drummer's foot. Electronic versions of the sound are sometimes made to sustain much longer than the relatively short sound produced by a physical drum. Compare an electronic and an acoustic kick. Now, this website is pretty cool. Click on the pads to play a sound. Okay. Okay, electronic, acoustic. Now, you see over here, keyboard off, keyboard on. Now I have buttons over here. I can do it on my keyboard. That's called finger drumming, which we will show more about as we go through this journey of audio production. The clap. That was live and in person. Not this reproduction of a clap. Picture of a clap. This is the sound of one or more people clapping their hands. I ask you to ponder. What is the sound of one hand clapping? I don't know where that came from, but I know I've heard it before. Today, electronic stylized versions of this sound, like the one used here, are much more common than actual recordings of hand claps. Because how difficult is it to get a microphone and record a clap? Right? You'd never be able to understand without the pictures. Thank you, Alex. A snare drum. You have a drum. Now what they're not showing you is on the bottom there are some metal pieces, thin strips of metal that are kind of curled. A snare drum is struck with a snick. Struck with a snick. Sometimes I forget I'm sitting in front of a computer, and I can just pull up an image search and show you that's not what I'm talking about. What? Can we see the bottom of a snare drum, please? Bro. Ah, there is kind of a picture of it. Can we make that bigger? Whoa! Parts of a snare drum. Okay, well, we're not trying to get into all of this. There you go. Snare wires. That's what a thin piece of metal is called, a wire. Bandonian. I know what that is. Okay, anyway. These are the snare wires that you're not seeing on the bottom of this picture here. And this is a snare stand. The snare drum is struck with a drumstick and produces a short, bright sound. We were talking earlier about the envelope of a sound. And remember, the drum produces a very short envelope as compared to a longer one. Oh, look, they do talk about it. A set of wires called snares is stretched across a drum head at the bottom of the drum. The vibration of the bottom drum head against the snares produces the drum's characteristic cracking tone. Claps, snares, and other sharp or bright sounds are often used in similar ways in drum patterns. Compare an electronic clap and an acoustic snare. trying to go faster. Anyway, was that annoying? Closed hat and open hat. These are two different sounds. That's a hi-hat. You have two cymbals and a foot pedal that kind of draws the top one down. Bottom one stays in place. These are two different sounds created by an instrument called the hi-hat. Hi-hats are a pair of small cymbals mounted on a stand. The top cymbal is attached to a rod that is raised and lowered with a foot pedal. Hi-hats are closed when the drummer's foot is down, which presses the cymbals together. They are open when the drummer's foot is raised and the cymbals are not touching. On an acoustic drum set, there is a huge range of states between the open and the closed position. Each state creates a different type of sound. Okay. Try all of the electronic sounds together. And now, let the finger drumming commence. Very cool. Now let's try. I wonder if, oh, okay, cool. Look at that. It turned off that one, and when I turn that one on. Now, try all the acoustic sounds together. This is my little keyboard. It is so much fun. I love this little thing. I saw it on a video about IT things, and the guy was creating an IT stack of all these different computers all kind of wired together and things like that. And he had this little cool mouse pad, and I'm a teacher, so a lot of times my computer's over there, but I'm over here, and I need to control it because it's up on the TV. And I have a couple of these little guys. I recently got another one that's even smaller. It's just like the keyboard, and then there's a trackpad over here. It doesn't have this fancy scroll wheel, which I love, and the RGB colors, which I also love. So that's why I'm using this. But this is not a MIDI controller. MIDI is Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and that is the language of music as far as the computer is concerned. And as we go through our journey here of music production, you'll see plenty of MIDI controllers. There are a plethora of them, and I own quite a few that do various things. Some of them are drum pads. I have a keyboard that has keys and also drum pads, and also sliders for the mixing of the audio, of the channels, and all that. So that's kind of fun. Okay? So, did you notice? If you play a closed hi-hat while an open hi-hat sound is still being heard, the closed sound will win and stop the open sound immediately. This matches the way a hi-hat behaves in the real world. The hi-hat can't be open and closed at the same time. Hi-hats work this way throughout these lessons. Let's show you that. So it's got a little bit of a sustain. So when I hit the closed, it stops. Okay? Anyway. Alright, so that's the basics of these sounds. What are these sounds? Okay, we're not going to go through all of this all in one, but you can see we've got beats. What are these sounds? Beat and tempo. I think this would be an appropriate thing to pair with measures and time signatures. That's a great lesson, perhaps for tomorrow. I have been enjoying this so very much. Ooh, my stomach is reminding me it's dinner time, so I may have to end this. Let's go back. Pee-wah! So, I've been enjoying this very much. Get over here so I can look at my camera. There you are. I've been enjoying this very much, and I hope you are as well. I should also cue my ending song. Let's do that. I'm not quite done, but I think we're about done. Let's see. Oh, both of my lights have gone out. So this is just bland lighting. I think that's my cue, so I may as well cue my ending music. There it is. Ah. Is it slower than normal? It is not. This is my album, Celestial Vibes. It's on Spotify. Can you not hear that? There she is. This is my album, Celestial Vibes. I put it out over a year ago. It says 1 year ago. But it was August of 2023. And I worked over the summer, created an album out of things that I had pre-existing. This was something that I had written, and I had a general template. I redid it a little bit. I re-recorded some things. I rebalanced and mastered and mixed some things. This song will make you hungry in 3 seconds. Not clickbait. Definitely clickbait. Oh, is that because I'm leaving and I'm hungry and whatnot? Or is that an April Fool's? So I had a lot of fun creating this album. At some point, because I do have Ableton on this computer, I can pull up some of my sound files and things like that, and we can talk about it. I can't quite get this audio to figure it itself out. Is that right? Does that sound good? Can you hear that and me? It looks like it's kind of quiet, but hopefully that's good. So, this is a DX7 sound, and if I remember correctly, this is actually recorded on a DX7. So, with this, I hope you had some fun on this Tuesday, on this Wednesday evening with me, your host, Tom Durante, with Durante's House of Music. Come back for more. I know I got into a lot today. I'm going to try and pace myself and go a little bit slower. But I really enjoy this, and I'm seeing a lot of good things from the comments, and a lot of good views, and a lot of good people, and a lot of good conversations. So come back for more at Durante's House